I'll move on to problem 3, which is maybe more interesting. But yeah, this is probably one of the easier problems from the gold level. So problem 3. So you're given a tree with size at most 100. Sorry, 1000. And then you're given a transformed tree. And the problem is basically asking you to construct a sequence of operations to get from the original tree to the final tree. And the operations you're allowed to do are of the following. Operations are of the form. So if you have two vertices, U and V, that are siblings, and if U is greater than, if U is less than V, and let's just say the children of U are U1, U2 up to UK, and then V1, V2 up to VK, then you can merge U and V, and then the result of this merge operation on U and V, basically these get replaced by one vertex, and that vertex has the larger, the label on that vertex is the larger one of the two. So basically it goes to this V, and then the children of this vertex is the union of the children of both vertices. So okay, yeah, the children of this vertex is the children of the union of these two vertices. So this is going to have children from U1 to UK. And then it's also going to have children V1 to VK. Okay. So yeah, you're given a tree with size n, and then you're given a transformed tree that has happened as a result of some unknown operation, some operations that are unknown to you of this form where you're merging two vertices such that it gets replaced with the larger vertices, and then the children get merged, or children share the same parent. And the goal is to find a sequence of operations. Okay, so basically, there are a couple of observations we can make. Yeah, yeah, feel free to interrupt if you have any questions or any comments, but some observations is, let's keep this here. When you merge two nodes, they have to be of the same depth. When merging U and V, they need to have the same depth. So just consider a sequence of merges, right? So this is your top node, and then yeah, let's just say like these are required to be merged, and then for some strange reason these are required to be merged. So it's always optimal to merge the shallower nodes before you merge the deeper nodes, because when you merge the higher nodes first, it gives more options for how you can merge the lower nodes. So optimal to merge higher nodes first. So we're gonna go from a higher depth to a lower depth one by one, and then see what we need to merge. So just consider the original tree and then final tree. So this is the starting tree, this is the final tree. Let's just say if there is a U that is in the starting tree, but U is not in F, that means that U has to be merged with something larger at some point, right? So this is another fact that we'll need to use. Uh-oh. Yeah, U needs to be, wait. Yeah, there's another fact that we need to use. U needs to be merged with something that's higher than it. So let's go from top to bottom. Let's just say we're at like this is the current depth we're processing. We're processing like depth D. We have a bunch of nodes. This is our depth D. We have a bunch of nodes. Let's just say that there's this vertex U that is in the initial tree, but it's not in the final tree. So okay, let me write this, not in the final tree. Since U is not in the final tree, that means we have to merge it with some V. So there are two cases. So case one, if U has a descendant W, if U has a descendant W that is in the final tree, so let's just say this is the final tree, and then W is a descendant of some node V at the same depth as U, then that means we need to merge U with V. So this is the case one. W is in the final tree. Then merge U with V. And then case two. And then the merging is O of N. And since the input N is at most 1000, and we have at most O of N merges, these merges are like efficient enough. So it's N squared. So like O of N total merges, O of N time per merge. So that's O of N squared. So merging is not too slow. It's all good. Case two, there's no entire subtree of U is not in the final tree. So if we have this case, then we need to destroy U's subtree. And this turns out to be the most tricky part of the problem. So case one is easy. If U has a descendant W that's in the final tree, and W's ancestor is V, then we merge U with V. Otherwise, we have to destroy U's subtree. This part ends up being tricky. Yeah. So basically, let's just say we want to destroy U's subtree. We're better off merging all the other ones first, because then when you merge, basically the numbers become larger. So we're more basically there's better options for U subtree to merge with, because these paths will become larger if you merge these first. So let's not worry about destroying U subtree until the end. So basically the solution we'll proceed with is merging U with just case one, processing things of the form of case one, where you just merge U with V, and then after you process things of the form of case one, then you'll basically have your final answer. So you'll have like this tree, and then you'll have these subtrees that need to be destroyed. And let's say that you want to check if, so you want to destroy U's subtree, and you want to check if V can destroy U's subtree. And V is on the same depth as U. So how do we check if V can destroy? So goal check if V subtree can destroy, destroy U's subtree. And to do this, basically, we can recurse. So destroy UV, and then let's just say U's children is like, so this tells me whether V can destroy, a V subtree can destroy U subtree. And then let's say U has children, U1 through UK, and then V has children from V1 through VL. Then you basically you want to destroy all of U's children. So basically you're going to iterate over destroy. Let's say you want to destroy U's first child. So you destroy U1, V1, destroy U1, V2. Basically, iterating over candidates of these children that will be responsible for destroying U1 up till destroy U1 VL. And notice that there are the number of such states is equal to basically each of these states gets visited only by one parent state, O of UV. So you can keep recursing, and then the number of states is just going to be equal to the size of this tree times the size of this tree. So number of states is equal to size of U subtree times size of V subtree. And then where U and V have the same depth. And then, yeah. So basically, yeah, this is less than or equal to, let's just fix the depth D, right? And then it has vertices like W1 up till WK. So the number of computations that we have is at most sub W1 plus sub W2 up to sub WK squared. Right? So, which is just sub P of U squared. And it's a trick that comes up in competitive programming, but basically sum over vertices U of the size of the subtree of U squared amortizes to O of n squared. Yeah, you can show this by showing that this is like at most sub U minus the children UI child of U sub UI squared. And then if you, and then it's like a sum of these over all vertices. And then this telescopes, and then so the sum over view of this, and then this is O of n squared. But yeah, this is just a trick that's known in competitive programming. If you have a bunch of subtrees, the sum of their subtree sizes is going to be O of n squared. So this destroying of subtrees does amortize to n squared. So just to summarize, there are two parts to the solution. The first part is I just merge things together from top to bottom. And then the second part is I destroy subtrees, and I can do this in some recursive way that amortizes to O of n squared. Yeah, any questions? I'm gonna go over, so that's it for the solution explanations, but we're still gonna talk about what's next for XCamp. So let me change my screen share. Okay. Okay. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I'm going to open back the slides that were in the beginning of the lecture. Okay, yeah. So let me share my screen. Okay, yeah. So as mentioned before, some people going over the different USACO problems. Yeah, so what are the USACO trends? So I guess the focus of this video, there are perspectives on how bronze and silver are changing. People are saying that it's like things are becoming harder and more ad hoc, but I'll talk about the gold division. So one trend I noticed among the gold problems more recently is that a lot of the problems require non-trivial observations and a lot of thinking. And I think that's contributed to increased difficulty over the last few years. If you look at problems from like 2016 or something, they're generally more standard. Some of them might have like some advanced topics, but I think the problems these days often are either more ad hoc or require more thinking. I guess the exception, one exception is problem 2 in this contest, which might have been closer to silver level because it was a pretty standard DP. But yeah. And then here are the plans for like what's next in XCamp. So like one option is we have this quarter system. So we're going to start the spring quarter in April for 10 weeks. Basically, this quarter system is meant to give you like a foundation of like different topics. So I'm teaching the 601 class, which is like a foundation for topics at the gold level. We've done things like linear data structures, um, um, like math fundamentals, and we're going into more advanced data structures next quarter. Or yeah, the other style is like the USACO enhancement class for all levels from October to March. They have mock tests. And there's also a summer camp at San Jose at July this year. And it's from bronze to platinum level. There's limited spots, 20 per level. So I'll talk a bit more about like how the gold plus training works, since there's a gold live solutions thing. Basically, I'm teaching 601, which is an introduction to like gold level concepts. And after that, there's a class called 602, which is a more advanced class where we train people to be able to pass gold. And then 603 is for people at the platinum level. And we've set in the past few years, it's meant to train people for USACO Platinum and to try to get into camp. For the last few years, we had a couple of people go to camp, and we're pretty optimistic about the results this year. They won't come out in a few weeks, but yes. And do you have any questions? Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, I'll be around for a few more minutes for any questions. Um, um, I'm not sure about um what what schedule what the exact schedule is for this year. But 601 I was the teacher for 601H in the winter quarter, and they're also taking 601H in the spring quarter. Um, so it's not like 601H is a 10-week class. There's multiple quarters, but I'm not familiar with the exact schedule, but I strongly encourage you to ask info at XCamp, um, because they'll be able to give you an answer. Yeah, yeah. Also, here's our Discord link. Okay, with that, I'll close this, but thank you.